I just watched every episode of Fairly Odd Parents, and I think the show accidentally told us who everyone becomes. And trust me, the way things end up for some of the characters is not what you'd expect. Today, I'm using my massive intellect and a disturbing amount of my free time to predict the future for some of our major characters in the show. First, let me pick a time frame. How about 20 years in the future? Where do you think everyone would be by then? Would Timmy be a big shot in the city or, you know, a homeless tramp on the streets? And what about Cosmo and Wanda? Who would they be assigned to after Timmy grows up? And what about Icky Vicky and that nut job, Mr. Crocker? Put on your detective hats because we're using 3 things: actual episode evidence, personality patterns that these characters usually follow, and even actual glimpses into the future. Let's see where everyone really ends up. Starting, of course, with Timmy Turner. Little guy has made over 1 million wishes, but can you really blame him? With a babysitter out to kill him, a bully that probably has a punching bag with his picture on it, and a teacher that's set out to make his life a living hell. It's a wonder the kid survived long enough to even get his damn fairly godparents. Thanks to practically everyone being out to get him, he's been forced to be crazy mature for a 10-year-old. He makes crazy, elaborate plans, comes up with incredibly clever shortcuts to his problems, and then takes responsibility for some stuff better than I do. And I'm more than twice his age. I mean, the kid wishes for Cosmo and Wanda to have a baby. And then there was the time in the Channel Chasers where he fought through multiple dimensions to save his parents. The kid's got heart, and you've really got to love him for that. But all the good points don't change the horrible things he's done. In Timmy's secret wish, we find out that Timmy made a wish to be 10 years old forever. That's already terrible enough. But before that, we also see all of the other terrible things he's done. He's caused hurricanes, fires, tornadoes. I mean, you name it. The little is a walking natural disaster.
Wait, is every single float on fire?
Just the first 1,000 or so. Then we move on to hurricanes, floods, pestilence, and my personal favorite, the neutron bomb float.
So what? Do I think 20 years from now the world is a barren wasteland because Timmy wanted some cupcakes? As entertaining as that would be, I don't think it'll get that far. So what happens in 20 years when those wishes run out? Well, the show has actually shown us 2 possible futures that Timmy could have. One's good and one's bad. In the bad timeline, adult Timmy is a resistance fighter in a world ruled by Vicky. He's tough, capable, and fighting back.
On this show, the good guy always wins.
You young fool, don't you understand? I am the good guy!
What?
In the good timeline, he's a dad who passes Cosmo and Wanda down to his own kids. He grew up, got his life together, and became the parent he wished he'd had.
Ah well, time to go to work. And time for your babysitter.
But there's a problem with that happy ending. That good future only happens if Timmy learns from his mistakes. And based on the 50-year time freeze thing, I'm not so sure he's capable of it. So, what future do I think Timmy's actually going to be? Well, I see it going one of 2 ways. We all know that he's going to lose his fairies once he gets older. But I think his future depends on how he takes that news. Option A, he tries some other magic method to keep his fairies and ends up in fairy court again, except this time they actually take Cosmo and Wanda away for good. And without that crutch, Timmy spirals. No skills, no degree, and no real relationships. Just a 30-year-old man who peaked at the age of 10, desperately refreshing self-help Reddit threads at 3 a.m, wondering where it all went wrong. Or option B, Timmy loses his fairies, and when he gets old enough, loses his memories of them, like every good god kid does. Finds love with one of the many girls crushing on him, and lives a completely normal life, never knowing what he had. That's pretty sad. I mean, at least looking in from the outside. But honestly, I'm leaning towards option A here. I love Timmy as much as the next guy, but I don't see him losing his dependence on his fairies anytime soon. But then, what happens to Cosmo and Wanda after they lose Timmy? We all know Cosmo and Wanda love Timmy, like really love him. They've saved his life countless times. They celebrate his birthdays. They stuck with him for 50 years during that time freeze, but they're also the biggest enablers in cartoon history.
These amoebas are so small, they're hard to count. I wish they were bigger.
You got it!
The two of them are pretty much the parents Timmy always wished he had, except with magic. So it's hard to see them being alright with leaving their kid and just going off to some other random god kid. And yeah, I know, Cosmo and Wanda have had multiple god kids over countless years, like in the 70s when they helped Billy Gates create the internet.
Hey, that gives me an idea. Someday I'll link every computer in the world together. I'll call it the Internet.
That's silly. You should call it the Timmy.
Okay.
But it's clear that no god kid they've had means as much to them as Timmy does. That doesn't mean that they're any good for him, though. They grant some wishes from Timmy that they really shouldn't be granting. Sure, Wanda is the straight man to Cosmo's near-psychotic tendencies, but she still lets some of this shit happen anyways. What are some of the things that they've granted for Timmy? How about Cosmo granting the wish that froze time for 50 years? Yeah, Cosmo did that shit, and even granted a wish to erase his own memories. And let's not forget the natural disasters that put him on trial for being the worst god kid ever.
Exhibit A. Timmy Turner is responsible for global warming.
I wish it was warmer.
Not only did his wish melt the polar ice caps,
How about Wanda? She's the tired one. She's been doing damage control for Cosmo for 10,000 years. Every time he does something catastrophically stupid, she's there cleaning it up. Every time Timmy makes a selfish wish, she warns him and then grants it anyway, because the rules say we have to. She's exhausted. You can hear it in her voice. She tries to be the voice of reason in their lives, and sometimes she's successful. But a majority of the time, she's stuck picking up the pieces of the mess that her husband and her god kid have caused.
Now a mansion to put it all in. Hey, what gives? I'm still in a house.
Our wands have been shut off.
So what happens to them in 20 years? Cosmo? Yeah, if he hasn't changed in thousands of years, literally 10,000 years, he's definitely not changing anytime soon. He's still the same lovable idiot that everyone puts up with. But Wanda, she's done. Burnt out. By the time they get reassigned after Timmy, she's not feeling the thrill of making her god kid's wishes come true. And Cosmo, he's still the same lovable disaster, probably destroying someone else's god kid's life in 20 years. But now, he's doing it without the Timmy that he grew to love. And the saddest part? Timmy, their last shared god kid, has lost his memories of them. Doesn't matter how much they miss him, they'll never be the same little magical family that they used to be. Phew. Okay, that was bloody dark, wasn't it? I mean, I don't hate these guys. I do want to see them happy. Let's look at someone I want to see burning in the pits of hell. Icky Vicky is a menace that should have been thrown in jail a long fucking time ago. To be honest, Vicky's future depends on just how fast karma catches up on her or how terribly she hides her crimes. And yeah, I said it, crimes. Let me just look at my list here. The crimes she committed are arson, attempted murder,
You have chores to do. It's just chores, right? How bad can it be?
kidnapping,
I love you, Chip Skylark. I'm gonna call all my friends and invite them to the wedding. First, I gotta find some friends.
false advertising,
I can't wait to spend time protecting and enriching your young child. So you can have the freedom to go out into the world and be the adults you've always wanted to be.
calling people morons on live radio.
You can't say moron on the radio. You can only say it on television.
Let's go, punk.
That last one's kind of weird, but I mean, you get the point. She needs a kick in the ass to put her in her place. But personal thoughts aside, we're here to use nothing but facts. So what would really happen to Vicky in 20 years? Well, you lot are not gonna like this, but the show just keeps rewarding her. In Channel Chasers, future Vicky somehow becomes a dictator that rules the world. And the only person with balls heavy enough to try and stop her is Timmy.
And once I find him, there will be no one left to stop me! Me, Vicky, supreme ruler of the earth!
Then there's Vicky gets fired, where she loses her babysitting job, and somehow that leads to her becoming the supreme leader of the entire world. Are you guys sensing a pattern here? Because I am. And let's not forget another episode when Timmy wishes he was never born. We see that without him to torture, Vicky becomes a productive member of society. She's happy. She's successful. Without her favourite twerp leading her down the icky path, she's actually not a bad person. I know. It's appalling to actually think about. She's actually an ambitious and very strong woman. Oh, God. I think complimenting Vicky is literally killing me from the inside. Let's just get to the big question here. What happens to Vicky in 20 years? I hate to say this. Trust me, I really hate to say this, but I think Vicky is going to be living her best life in her late 30s and early 40s. She grows up a bit. Maybe goes to college. Maybe not. I don't think it really matters. The point is, she's determined and resilient, like a goddamn cockroach. So she'll find a way to make something work. I mean, just look at this.
Hi, Mr. Turner. I'm here to babysit the little targets. I mean, the precious gifts from above.
Maybe in some really dark, horrible alternate reality, she finds a way to get into politics. Which, to be honest, with what we've been going through on the news lately, I think she'll become friends with a lot of like-minded people. And that is truly terrifying to think about. Okay. Enough of that nightmare. How about Mr. Crocker? Well, sure, the guy is batshit crazy, but he's not wrong. What do I mean? Well, his obsession with fairies isn't born out of some deep mental issue. It's actually Timmy's fault. Plot twist? Yeah. In the secret origin of Denzel Crocker, it's revealed that Crocker actually had his own fairy godparents when he was a kid. And it's none other than f***ing Cosmo and Wanda themselves.
Gah! My life is so miserable. I don't know how I'd be able to bear it if it weren't for you two. Cosmo and Wanda.
In that same episode, Timmy goes back in time and accidentally reveals to other people that Crocker has fairies, which is against the rules. So Jorgen has to come in and wipe the memories of everyone in Dimsdale.
You're not careful. This will be the day when everybody realizes that you have fairy godparents.
Curtain close, audience claps, end of story, right? Well, it should have been, except Crocker actually planned ahead. He left a message for himself before the memory wipe to remind himself that fairies are real, and that's what grows his obsession. That's right, Crocker's obsession with fairies comes from Timmy's and his fairies.
But I don't know what. Fairy godparents exist. Fairies do exist. Fairies!
The guy grows up to be obsessed, desperate, and, as I said before, batshit crazy. But what does that have to do with how he turns out? Well, a lot actually, because here's another plot twist. Crocker's insane belief in fairies literally powers Fairy World. The dude's message to himself to keep the magic alive, in turn, made him so obsessed with fairies that the fairies convert it into magical fuel.
When Mr. Crocker first began to spaz about fairies many years ago, his energy was so powerful, we harnessed it to fuel the big giant wand all by itself.
What does that mean? Fairy World needs him to stay broken and crazy. Don't believe me? Well, in Crocker Shocker, when he stops believing for just a moment, Fairy World starts losing power. That means one thing. They have to keep him insane so they can keep farming his trauma for energy.
¡Amba! ¡Herigo parents! ¡Ay, caramba! Fairy World is back to normal!
So that leaves us with the question of what happens to Crocker in 20 years. The truth is, he's right. Fairy godparents do exist. Timmy Turner's got some, and the world will never know that he's telling the truth. Whether Timmy is there or not to keep him obsessed, he works in a school for Christ's sake. Chances are he's going to find another kid to obsess over if Timmy leaves, whether they have fairies or not. And let's not forget that Fairy World needs him to be a psychopath so they can keep their dreams magic. So they're going to do everything to keep the man hooked, appearing in his dreams, making stuff move around, and everything in between. I mean, Timmy says it himself right here.
We just have to make sure Mr. Crocker never stops believing in fairies ever again.
So, my prediction? He'll still be teaching while pushing his 70s and 80s. He'll be hunched over, screaming at kids and chasing shadows because Fairy World won't let him stop. They need their battery, so Crocker's not allowed to heal. His life becomes his own personal hell, and the fairies are the ones keeping him there. That might be the most f***ed up thing thing in this entire show. I may have cooked a bit too hard with that one. How about a quick honourable mention before I dig into the final characters, shall we? How about someone way more tortured and dark than Timmy himself? That's right, I'm going to talk about a girl. Not scary? I guess I'm the only one terrified by the opposite gender. Anyways, how about we look at Tootie real quick? Why do I think she's more tortured than Timmy? Well, she's related to f***ing Vicky, of all people. Timmy thinks he's got it bad. Oh, imagine having Vicky in your life from the moment you're born. I mean, God, I feel for the poor girl. Thankfully, though, as bad as things must be, I'm sure she got a break as soon as Vicky got hired to babysit Timmy. Chances are, her sister spends more time sharpening her swords for her twerp than bullying Tootie.
Hey, the twerp's screaming, and I'm not there to cause it.
But what becomes of Tootie much later in the future of the show? Well, to be honest, the girl's got one major defining trait, her love for Timmy. While I'm pretty sure that's probably just a phase, it seems heavy enough that I don't think she'd let it go immediately. So, what do I think? Well, I think she actually bags the guy. I believe in our girl Tootie. And if she has even a quarter of that Vicky resilience running in her blood, she's not going to stop till she gets what she wants. Plus, here's a little sneak peek in the movie where we see one of the possible Timmy futures. We also see Timmy's kids. And the two of them share a surprising amount of characteristics with both Timmy and Tootie. There's also that live-action movie that no one likes to talk about, where Tootie grows up hot, and Timmy's the one pining for her. It may not be canon, but you can't deny the facts right in front of you. That was a nice burst of sugar after all the dark stuff. I hope you enjoyed it, because we're diving right back into the messed up shit. Let's talk about the root cause of all of Timmy's problems. His own damn parents. Because you want to know why Timmy is the way he is? Look at who raised him. Mr. and Mrs. Turner are, well, they're not bad people. They love Timmy, they really do. But holy shit are they terrible at showing it.
Kids.
I know. That's why we don't have any.
Me too.
Let's start with the basics. These are the people who hired Vicky. And we find out that it all happened because of a f***ing lie.
Ha! Timmy believed our first little white lie, and I got it all on tape.
Timmy's mum, bless her heart, was so desperate to get a vacation from being a parent that she forced her husband to pretend to abandon their kid, long enough for Timmy to desperately call someone to come take care of him. And that person just had to be Vicky. Then that little blip of carelessness becomes a full-on habit. They forget about him constantly, leave him alone for days at a time, and in one episode, they literally thought Timmy was going to be a girl, so they bought all pink baby clothes. They don't even know their own kid.
It's the perfect home for a young couple who can't wait for the birth of their new daughter.
Yeah. And look at all this cool daughter stuff I bought. I'd be crushed if we had a son.
Mr. Turner is a man-child who hates his neighbour Dinkelberg for having the freedom he gave up. Mrs. Turner is smart enough to know better, but chooses not to care. They're not evil, they're just selfish and emotionally immature. They had a kid when they wanted freedom, and they never forgave him for it. So what happens to them in 20 years? Well, to be honest, they're loaded. They never cared for their own kid when he was a, well, kid. So, what makes you think anything changes when he grows up? As soon as Timmy's old enough to live on his own, they slap some money in his face and kick him out. Then they live their best lives. They travel, they party, they enjoy everything they've always wanted. And Timmy? Well, we've already talked about where he'll end up. He'll be so busy putting his shit together that he'll grow distant. No calls, no texts, no gifts on their birthdays. By the time they notice, it'll be too late. They'll be old, wrinkled, and tired of the party lifestyle. No kids to take care of them in their old age and living off of elderly benefits, if they get any. We've already talked about how Vicky could maybe get into politics, and do you really think she'll want anyone getting any kind of benefit in her new world other than her? They'll be alone, left to live in a world where their only child wants nothing to do with them. And you know the funny thing? They'll probably never really understand why. Damn, that one hit hard. And all of this assuming Vicky doesn't just accidentally kill Timmy one day with her violent babysitting methods and ends up in prison or on the run from the cops while his parents grieve the death of their only child. If you'll excuse me, I'll go find some other childhood show to ruin for you all. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're excited for that. Cheerio!